Woo doggy.
Vibes are high. Let's go.
Vibes are high. Bitcoin price approaching 96,000 again.
It feels so much better on the way up than on the way down.
It really does. It is
Funny how that
insane
works.
it is insane how it does have this effect on your psychology. Maybe we're a bit crazy and it shouldn't. We shouldn't let the price do that. We should stay humble and stack sats, but it's inevitable.
I think it affects everybody. You're either lying, you're just lying. If you say it doesn't, you're lying to yourself or you're lying to others. That's how it works.
I mean, enjoy the good times. This could be a bull trap, freaks. We could be getting bull trapped and head back down to 60K. So enjoy
straight to 70.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Do you think it's a bull trap?
I don't know. You know me. Never good. Never good at these predictions.
Is it officially a pump? Like is the super cycle back on?
Year to date, we're up 6.62%. Last month, we're up 9.6%. Not quite yet.
I think, fuck. I've been right as much as I've been wrong. I've been directionally correct the entire time though.
I mean, it depends on
Bitcoin
your time
goes up.
Yeah, I think the first episode we were at $3,000 and said Bitcoin's gonna go up from here. So
well, I had Corallo on Dispatch, and it reminded me that the first rip I ever did with you was right after you ripped with Corallo, and Corallo was like, Bitcoin's an experiment that has like a 5% chance of succeeding. It's like 2018 or something. And I was like, fuck that pussy ass shit. There's no shot in hell. Like Bitcoin is going to the moon. We got this thing. I don't know. It just reminded me because I had him on the show. It was a good rip.
Over the years, Matt's probability of Bitcoin's long-term success has consistently gone up, so it's good to see.
But he hit me with it again on Dispatch. He was like, yeah, if this like one scenario plays out like Bitcoin's dead, I was like, I don't think so. No.
What was the scenario?
We were talking about quantum. We were like gaming out quantum, different quantum scenarios. And really? Yeah, he was like, if someone steals 4 million, if some quantum attacker steals 4 million Bitcoin, I'm paraphrasing. You should listen to the episode. Search Still Dispatch in your favorite podcast app. But he was like, if someone steals 4 million Bitcoin and dumps it on the market, Bitcoin's dead and never recovers.
Why would they dump it? I mean, you'd have to be a
nihilistic. It was a great conversation.
Hacker. You'd be a nihilistic hacker if you did that, right? It would have to be.
We went through all the scenarios. It was fun. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't. If you actually want to talk about making the most money out of that kind of attack, like you wouldn't try and kill Bitcoin by dumping it all on the market. That'd be retarded.
Yeah.
You'd launch a treasury company to compete with MicroStrategy and be like, we're never selling this Bitcoin. But I actually think it's the most the thing that we disagreed with the most is I still think quantum, like cryptographically relevant quantum computer that can like break any of this shit is a hypothetical. Like this is not like a real concern I have for the next 10 years. But I do think like if you see that type of attack, one of I think our big fundamental disagreements is that he thinks it's going to come from the startup ecosystem, and I think it would come from a major government. Like it would be like a China or US. Maybe you throw Israel in there, maybe Russia, and it would be like a dark program from one of those governments. We wouldn't know about it, and it would probably go into the stolen Bitcoin reserve alongside all the other stolen Bitcoin. And then, I mean, people like when the U.S. government steals Bitcoin, so I doubt we'd have too much down pressure on that.
Yeah. I'm more interested when it comes to the quantum discussion, especially after talking to Jonas Nick and Mikhail Kudinov from Blockstream a few weeks ago. It's like that conversation was really crystallizing in the sense of like, oh shit, you need to change multi-sig, PSBTs, Lightning Network potentially. Like, how do you even prepare and begin that transition? And luckily, I mean, there are very smart people thinking about this and beginning to game plan how a transition would work. But that's like a massive logistical nightmare. Is Matt a fan of freezing quantum vulnerable?
Yeah, did you see what I named the episode? I've been on a streak with good names. Stealing Satoshis. It hits double hard because he works for Block, and Block is trying to get rid of Satoshis as well. So like there's multiple levels to the name. But yeah, I mean, people should listen to the episode. But that was me and him were arguing about it on Nostr, and that's what led to the podcast in the first place. Because I think that's like a complete non-starter. And so we game planned a lot of that. Did you see? Talking about my great names, did you see what I named this episode?
I retweeted the tweet, but didn't look at it. Feds versus Fed.
Great name.
It is.
We're just hitting 2026 with great podcast names.
Let me send a get in here quote tweet. Great time last night in DC. Shout out to the Bitcoin Policy Institute and the team at Pubkey. Great establishment they've established in DC. Bitcoin Policy Institute, top notch. Very proud of David, Grant, Connor, Matt Pines, Gary, the whole crew over there. Zoomer, Mills. Great conversations with Mills last night. Zoomer Zach, I saw you.
Other Zach
Shapiro. Many others. Yael.
I love when Marty does this, when he gets himself into the hole of trying to
you got to
name every single person in an organization. You're going to start going through the Pubkey guys too?
Jerk, Thomas, Dan.
I don't know if Thomas's wife's public name, if her name is public, but her as well.
It is somewhere, but we'll keep that close to the chest. Great time. That is one of the convenient factors of moving back to the Philadelphia area. I can hop on a train, go down to DC, hop up to New York, and sleep in my own bed. Yeah,
David was happy that you joined them for the event. He did not. He was not happy with me that I sent you in my stead, though. He was a little bit disappointed.
You didn't send me. We were both invited individually. You could have gone.
Yeah, well, whenever you go to an event that I don't go to, I say I sent you in my stead.
It was great. Vibes are high.
It's not completely wrong.
I mean, vibes were interesting actually because the whole market structure bill sort of fell to shit like an hour before the event started. So it was a lot of the conversation last night was around that.
Yeah, what's the insight on that?
A lot of conflicting opinions on whether or not the bill is good or bad. Let's do Clark's dashboard, then we'll start off with that, just so we don't forget.
So it would be deal.
Not to.
But anyway, before we do that, just real quick, Pubkey DC has launched. Bitcoin Policy Institute has an office there. Open door policy. Go visit them if you're in DC. I'd love to have you.
Yes. Met a fan of the show. He told me he's going to be listening right now. So hello to you, sir. I won't dox you, but
does he work for the agency?
He works for NASA. We've got people in the space program.
There you go. He works for a agency.
A agency, yes. What does NASA stand for again? This is
something agency, right?
It is
naval. Is it naval?
Let me see. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
It's no agency. It's not an agency. It's administration. And there's no naval involved in it.
They coordinate with the Navy sometimes, I think.
What does this mean? He's in the YouTube chat. He says, "I'm that fan. Odell sucks eggs." By the way, what does that mean?
What was that?
The guy that you're talking about is Mother Mary 3796 on YouTube. Do you see him in the YouTube chat?
Sucks eggs, by the way. I have no idea.
What does that mean? Is that like a Zoomer thing?
I
Is
don't
that a
know. He
boomer
wasn't
thing, a
Zoomer.
zoomer thing? What's his age range?
I think
I
he's.
don't know. Eggs are good for you. Eggs are a superfood. I
I think
encourage
he's just.
everyone to suck
The
eggs.
oldest use of that I know of is in SpongeBob. So
And what was the reference in that? Was it
it's
negative?
something. Yeah, it's negative. Squidward sucks eggs. I
Wow.
think.
Well, it shouldn't be negative because eggs are a superfood. So
Well,
I'm going to
maybe
take it
he's
as a positive.
maybe he's nervous in the live chat and he's trying to impress the live chat because he was speaking highly of you last night. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
Anyway, freak, join the live chat on Nostr. Download Primal in your favorite app store. It's Bitcoin enabled. It's where the freaks dwell.
John Arnold, our partner at
Resident
1030.
Quant.
That's a 1950s ass insult.
Eat your eggs, freaks. Eat your eggs. Use code RHR at your favorite egg supplier.
I had 2 this morning. All right, to the dashboard.
Sorry.
Current price is 95,850 cuck bucks. 1 cuck buck's going to get you 1,043 sats. We are approaching a $2 trillion market cap yet again, sitting at 1.91 trillion. We are still 24% below the last all-time high of 126,160. We're at block height 932,415, which means we are 1,459. Oh, wait, no, that's the mempool. Excuse me. 993 blocks away from the next difficulty retarget, estimated to be on January 22nd, so a week from today. Maybe we'll get a difficulty adjustment during next week's RHR. Or actually, maybe we won't. I'm going to be in Nashville for the Energy and Mining Summit. We'll figure out next week's schedule. As of right now, estimated to be a negative 4.3% difficulty adjustment. Blocks been coming in at 10 minutes and 29 seconds on average. As I alluded to, looks like the mempool has grown. In Clark's teeny weeny mempool, 1,606 transactions. If we go over to mempool.space, which I don't have opened on my browser right now, they have 27,167 transactions in their mempool. Very cheap right now. 1 sat per V-byte, get you the next block. If you're willing to wait, you can go less than that, below a sat. Ooh, just bumped up to 2 sats for a V-byte. Activity.
I mean, the last block was 0.37.
Yes. All right, back to what we were discussing.
One day it'll never clear again.
There's somebody listening live that pinged me out of band on Signal and said, in case you see this, this bill was bad. But it was killed by TradFi, not Coinbase. So it was bad for literally everyone. So for those who are unaware, obviously the market structure bill, long been talked about, Genius Act, the stablecoin bill was passed last year. The order of operations, a priority for Bitcoin and quote unquote crypto related bills was Genius, market structure, distant third being the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Many people were hoping that market structure would have gotten passed last year. It did not, got pushed to this year. And there was many people signaling that this week it was going to get passed, or it was at least going to hit the floor. And at the very last minute, it got pulled from a debate today, or I forget what they call it. They were going to hear it out on the floor today. They decided not to do that at the last minute. Many people are attributing it to Brian Armstrong's tweet last night, which basically said, hey, I'd rather have no bill than a bad bill. I can't support this. But like I was saying, there was a lot of discussion last night at the BPI official opening of their office last night, that party. And yeah, so many people I talked to, like, there were some good aspects of the bill, particularly for open source developers, at least some of the language.
That was it.
Yeah.
Right?
There was language about self-custody, but it was opaque. Lowell Elites wrote something about it in the Rage, and I talked to somebody who was on the Hill and said, like, the way he described it is like Lola is like 50% right, 50% wrong, based off of her, like his analysis of her summary of the bill. But the one thing that she said that he said that she highlighted that was actually like very high signal that nobody else really caught on to was the fact that it would expand the Patriot Act and
KYC surveillance.
Yeah. And I think one of the other biggest hiccups, and what the person who's messaging me out about on Signal is alluding to, is that apparently the banking lobby stepped in and really were adamant about not letting stablecoin issuers share treasury yield with their users, because it would, I mean, if you're just looking at the incentives, it'll completely destroy their business model, because why would you save your money in a bank if you could save it in a stablecoin wallet and get 3.5 to 4% in yield instead of 40 bips in a savings account, high yield.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
account.
same issue that people have, well, that banks have with Caitlin Long's full reserve bank, right? It's like if you add a more desirable deposit option, then the Ponzi banking system just unravels like crazy because everyone just pulls their deposits out, right?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
So it is like, yeah. What are your thoughts on, like to your point there? Like, is this just going to be a never-ending stalemate? Because if you unleash all this stuff on the market, it's going to completely destroy the bank's business model unless they adopt it themselves.
I mean, I think the problem is there's too many warring incentives, right? Like, we're not aligned with Coinbase, who's not aligned with the banks, who's not aligned with us. They tried to make everybody happy in a bill that they called Clarity, which like provides no clarity whatsoever. Which just is like a psyop in itself, right? Like the Patriot Act, right? Like the Patriot Act was the least patriotic thing ever. And it's like, okay, let's pass a super confusing bill and call it Clarity. I mean, look, on the KYC surveillance stuff, like that's been trending in a bad direction for a long time. At least for regulated entities, like I think it gets way worse before it gets better. But where we can win, I think, is making sure self-custody developers are protected, that there's no surveillance requirements there, that make sure open source developers are protected. America should be and can be the best place for open source development to happen, and Bitcoin innovation in general. I think it's better for the country as a whole. Like, this is something that's good for all Americans. Yeah, I mean, I think the process is incredibly frustrating, but it was always going to be incredibly frustrating. Like, this should not be a surprise for people, and the grind continues. And I'm grateful that we have. This is why we have the team at Bitcoin Policy Institute, because it's the first time we've really had a well-oiled machine that is focused specifically on the needs of the average Bitcoiner that wants to hold self-custody Bitcoin, that wants to use Bitcoin as freedom money. We've never had an advocate for that in DC. And it's already been a sea change in terms of the amount of influence we have for these things. And I'm sure you saw that when you went to the event last night. Their power is growing and the narrative is starting to take hold. And so I'm quite optimistic on that front. But this is not it's not going to be an overnight thing. And the number one priority is to keep us all out of the gulags. And I think, well, obviously, with the massive glaring exception of Samurai, the Samurai developers being pleading guilty and being jailed, we need to free them. But with that massive exception, the last 2 years we've made significant progress in terms of our own government trying to destroy Bitcoiners' lives and, strong Bitcoin businesses that are based in America.
Yeah. I mean, props are due to Brian Armstrong. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. In this case, like, I agree. I'd rather have no bill than a bad bill. And it's very
That's
interesting.
the only part of his tweet that you agree with, right? The rest of the tweet was pretty bad.
Yeah.
A good one-liner.
I was explaining this to somebody last night. Up until, I think, last year, like March of last year, I'd been to DC twice in my life, once for a third grade field trip and once like visiting a high school sweetheart girlfriend. She went to Georgetown. And then between then, when I was 18 and up to last year when I was 33, I'd never been. I've been like 4 or 5 times in the last year, especially since I've moved rather close, being back home in Philly. It's easy to get down there on train, but like, it's the experience of going down there many times over the last 12 months is really highlighted. I think we all have the sort of feeling that it's this way, but like, you see it in person and you talk to the people involved in it. Like, I don't envy anybody that's involved with how the sausage is made. It seems like fucking hell. And thankless in a lot of ways. And yeah, there's just, like we were saying earlier, so many competing incentives. And I don't know, it makes you wonder, like sitting on the train on the way back last night, I was like, have we just gotten to a scale where it doesn't make sense to do things like this anymore? But it's hard work. BPI guy, Zach Shapiro, actually, specifically from BPI, and the Coin Center guys. I saw Peter Van Valkenburg and Niraj tweeting about it. They were like, "Come on, this was a good bill. We should take what we want." But I don't know, I'd push back. Like, I think the expansion of the Patriot Act and the ambiguity of whether or not self-custody was actually protected and KYC AML compliance wouldn't be thrust on open source wallets was a bit too unsettling. And going back to like the big banks, like I think this could be a stalemate, because somebody I was talking to last night about this, it was like, okay, like what if the big banks just like adopted stablecoins and started giving yield to their clients and actually giving them like a good interest rate in their savings accounts? It's like it would kill community banks, number one, and then it would narrow the big banks, and they don't want that at all, because by taking the treasury yields, they're able to put that in other markets and then lever it up 10x, and simply ripping some margin off of the treasury yields and giving the rest to their clients, their depositors, doesn't make much sense. Not as profitable, obviously. So they have to significantly narrow their operations, which I think for the too big to fail banks, it's too far gone for that.
I mean, I think an interesting takeaway, an interesting part here is, I mean, I think a lot of people were surprised how strongly Coinbase came out against it. Because the shitcoiners got like way more out of this than we did. Like, beside the KYC surveillance piece is horrible, bad for America. But like also like the majority of the bill just is like crony capitalism bullshit based for shitcoiners. It's like all for the shitcoiners.
Yeah.
Like even the whole concept of quote unquote market structure is like, let us dump shitcoins on retail. It's like, that is the premise of the regulation. We've been savvy enough to sneak in some open source developer protections and self-custody protections. But the general premise was, let's legalize dumping shitcoins on retail. And he's being a little bit greedy about it, to not be cool with this proposal.
Yeah, because from what I understand, it'd be like some registration process for all the tokens, and like he just wants people to be able to pump out fun, launch meme coins and stuff like that on base.
It's a little bit greedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I'd rather, if you want to take his one-liner, like I 100% echo the sentiment that no bill is better than bad bill. Like 100%.
Yeah, what is the problem of the status quo right now? Like, obviously, we want the open source developer protections, but there's no, like, if that bill passed, you could argue that they would actually not be as good as they are now.
I think the argument is, if you go back a year and a half ago, things were bleak in America for people building out Bitcoin and other freedom adjacent software and businesses. And since then, we haven't had really any substantive like legal changes, but we've had a government that has basically like taken the gun away from our head, right? An administration taking the gun away from our head. Obviously, they still like freeing Ross was huge, I think. At least for, personally for Ross, it was absolutely massive. And then also from like a narrative point of view, it was, I think, really important. But we need to be very deliberate here and not take our foot off the gas and cement some of these perceived gains, because who the hell knows what's going to happen in the next 3 years? You know, it'd be nice to have some of this stuff like enshrined in law and very clear, like actual clarity, not just the name of the fucking bill, like actual clarity on where we stand on this shit would be really big for the country, I think.
Agreed. And that, like, going back to my earlier comments about like just being completely dismayed at how the sausage is made. That was one of the conversations I have, is like, all right, like, why can't we just get a simple 2-page bill? It's like open source developers can write code and will not be beholden to the whims of whatever end users do with that, and individual American citizens can self-custody without having to KYC. And they were like, no, this is not how this works. Like, it all needs to be
It's like, oh,
jumbled.
it's a funny guy over here making jokes.
Yeah. They're like, are you retarded? Like, no, that's not how that works at all. Like, what? These omnibus bills. It's the way of the land now, which is disconcerting. All right. Before we jump into more topics, let's read some zaps here from Great Gee. We are now third-party lab-tested glyphosate and AMPA free. Use code RHR. I've been pronouncing glyphosate wrong for my entire life. There's some like middle of the word spoonism. I've been calling it glyphosate for many years. Glyphosate.
Did you see his comment on Nostr ahead of time, telling us how to pronounce it?
Yes, I did.
Did you see my response?
What was it?
If you expect us to pronounce words correctly, you're going to have a bad time.
Yes, that's true.
This is huge. Huge shout out to Great Gee. I think, I mean, it's really hard to find good quality food for our family. So I appreciate him providing.
Speaking of providing great products, animal-based products for our family, Soap Miner is next up, 21,000 sats. Sup freak, sats are the standard and the only payment Soap Miner accepts. MAV21 with 21,000 zap.
Use code RHR.
Use code RHR at soapminer.com. MAV21, 21,000 sats. And I'm going to read this one just because if you read it, it's like, okay, this is good enough. They put the effort in. George's 20,000 sats. Long time listening, first time catching the love stream on Primal. It's a live stream. Always wanted to shout out. I know it's not 21,000, but this is all the sats in my Primal wallet. So you emptied your wallet.
How much was it?
20,000.
Oh, that counts. For some reason, that zap's not showing for me. I just see his text. And what MAV21 didn't have a message, right?
Doesn't look like it.
I freaked out. Thank you for your support.
Yeah. Thank you guys for the support. Moving on. In terms of our list in Iran, if you guys haven't been paying attention, it's been a pretty crazy week there. Currently, the internet is still offline. It's been offline for 5 days now, I believe.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it says it right there, 168 hours. What is that?
168.
7 days.
7 days.
It's a big 2 days to be off by, Marty.
I know. We're not going to read this whole...
Imagine if the internet went off for a week in America, people would lose their shit.
I mean, T-Mobile went down for like 6 hours yesterday and people were freaking out.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying entire internet, all internet cut. Like the only internet they have in Iran is Starlink, and the government's actively been jamming that as well. Yeah. Like some people have been able to get around it, but it's not as easy as just like throwing a dish out there and connecting. Like they've been actively trying to stop the Starlink signal as well.
Yeah.
It'd be straight chaos in the US if it was 7 days. Agreed.
I mean, people would be eating each other. A friend of the show, I know we both know him. I saw him in person last year. He was imprisoned by the Iranian regime, escaped. He's no longer in the country, but I think it's very close, obviously very near and dear to his heart. Zaya. He wrote a long post on Nostr about this. We won't read the whole thing, but I think it is. We'll read a few paragraphs because it's pretty enlightening. 12,000 innocent lives are lost. Hashtag Iran massacre. Over the past 2 weeks, protests have started across Iran. Very little of what is happening is being accurately reported, and a significant amount of false information is circulating. Much of it is deliberately engineered by the Islamic Republic regime and the IRGC to buy time while they suppress the protest. It's been a week and the internet has been completely shut down and there's no contact with inside Iran. This is unprecedented. Mobile communication is unavailable. Text messages and landlines too. People cannot even communicate with each other inside Iran. Last time the regime imposed a nationwide internet blackout was around 6 years ago. At least 1,500 people were killed during that period. It set a very grim precedent, and what is happening now is even more severe. I haven't heard anything from my friends and family in days. Even some of my friends who are very tech savvy, I haven't heard anything from them. A very small number of people had smuggled Starlink terminals in before this, which has made it possible for a very limited number of videos to come out. Why aren't there more of these? Because it's difficult to smuggle. They're expensive and they're extremely risky to own or use in Iran. The regime will put you away in jail for 5 to 10 years if they find out you have one. The reason for these blackouts is that the Islamic Republic regime ruling Iran doesn't want any kind of exposure to their killings, so people can't tell the world what's happening to them. It's like the regime covers up the whole country with a very heavy blanket and then starts killing and shooting people under it, and their crimes go unnoticed. Read this. The main reason I'm writing this here is that while our people are being shot, we, the Iranian diaspora, open any social media or platform and see tons of accounts claiming that we're telling lies about a massacre happening in Iran. To this moment, there have been reports of 12,000 people being killed in only 2 days. For those who cannot fathom the 12,000 number for the Iran massacre, I can only say that it's probably much higher, and the number will grow even more once the regime starts executing those who are detained. The regime announced that the first execution will be tomorrow. Check hashtag Efron Soltani and spread his name. I'm going to stop there, but we'll link to this. It's a rather lengthy post. Pretty crazy. And Zaya is definitely a legitimate source on this. He's a longtime Iranian Bitcoiner on the ground educating people in Iran about Bitcoin for many years, over a decade. I think I had him on TFTC in like 2019, 2020.
Yeah, Zaya's a real one. Long length of proof of work there with Zaya. Very trustworthy individual, high integrity.
Yeah.
And if you want to support the cause financially, if you zap him, I can confidently say it will go in the right direction.
Yeah. It's crazy. And then there was rumors that the United States was going to attack back to late last night. It seems like that changed. Trump came out and said, we're not going to attack Iran. I wonder if Verizon shut down yesterday was that in Iran?
No, I doubt that. No, I think that was probably just bad infrastructure. It's not the first time it's happened. I mean, a lot of our infrastructure is just fucking, and they have monopolies. It's just outdated and poorly maintained, and they don't have a huge incentive to make it more reliable. If it goes out for 6 hours, does anyone switch their cellular provider? No, like maybe
nobody
couple
hops
people
on Silent Link.
I mean, I remember I had an office in New York, and like our cable internet would just like go out for like 3 hours in Midtown Manhattan. It's like you're supposed to be like the financial capital of the world, and you can't have internet for 3 hours in the middle of the workday because they know you're not going to fucking leave them. But no, my guess is, I mean, look, love or hate the current administration. I've gotten a lot of shit for this, for calling it as I see it. On the military side, they've been incredibly savvy. They've been incredibly savvy recently. And the fog of war is incredibly important. Your enemy not knowing when you're going to do something and how you're going to do it. And what I saw last night was them playing some games to make people think that they were about to do it. And that doesn't mean they're not going to do it tomorrow. I mean, he seems to like, he loves his financial markets. So he seems to like attacking when markets are closed on the weekends. But specifically what set it all off was airspace was closed, but also there was a couple big bets on Polymarket.
I saw that.
And it's like, so like they like, I'm pretty sure it's like them and the Israelis, they like take an account that has been correct in the past about attacks. They throw in a $100,000 bet on them being attacked tonight. Watch and see what kind of troop movements happen. You know, keep them on their toes. That's what it felt like. But I don't think it was related to the cell phone outage.
I'm trying to find the tweet because somebody made a big bet last night that we were going to attack Iran by the end of
and then they sold the top. I think they sold at like 90% or something.
Yeah.
So they got their money back. It didn't really cost them anything, but they got to see some responses. They also got to, you know, keep the enemy on their toes, not let them know when they're going to get hit.
Yeah. All right. My heart goes out to everybody in Iran. Very shitty, obviously. Not shitty is not near descriptive enough. Absolutely abhorrent situation over there.
Yeah, I will unequivocally say I stand with the people of Iran.
Yeah. I'm looking for this while we're talking about prediction markets. So before we go to the next rather gloomy
I mean, yeah, go on.
a topic, Logan, pull this up and put it in the chat.
I mean, before we leave, are you going to leave Iran? Is that what you're doing?
No, we can stay on Iran. Yeah, stay on Iran, and then we'll leave. Add some
I
context
just want to
prediction markets.
like on the optimistic side, look, this is why this technology is so important, right? This is why Bitcoin's so important. This is why Nostr is important. This is why BitChat's important. This is why even things like Starlink are important, right? When you have technology that empowers individuals, it makes it harder for corrupt governments to stomp on their people. It doesn't make it impossible. Bitcoin doesn't end wars. It doesn't end violence. Iran doesn't have a printing press. Their currency is fucking worthless. It's literally on financial markets and went to zero. It's worthless. They have no printing press. They can still kill people. These tools empower individuals to stand up and have outsized power that they wouldn't otherwise have as individuals. And as a result, it reduces the effectiveness of corrupt governments. And that's the optimistic take. That's why this movement's so important. That's why we have to keep pushing forward. That's why this grind is a forever grind.
But a worthwhile grind. It is a grind.
Yes.
We talk about it. Matt and I often joke before we hit record, I'm tired, boss. But it's stories like this that remind us why we're in this in the first place. It's imperative. You got to grind. You got to keep pushing forward. Couldn't have said it better. I'm talking about, obviously, we were talking about prediction markets there. Like, how do you get accuracy for news? I don't, accuracy within prediction markets about potential future events. And I thought this was actually, I didn't share this with you yet, but I thought this was actually an interesting analysis from Zach Picorni from Galaxy Research. He said, I've been meaning to write this for a while, new report on how I think prediction markets evolve from here, the future of impact markets. Impact markets address a fundamental information gap. Prediction markets today cannot tell you what an asset will be worth conditional on specific events occurring. This information doesn't exist in an explicitly discoverable form. While prediction markets reveal event probabilities and spot market reveal prices, no mechanism surfaces the market's collective view on conditional asset valuations bound to specific events, such as where Bitcoin would trade if the Fed were to cut 75 or 50 basis points, or how NVIDIA shares would perform if an AI alarmist candidate won an important election. Instead of trading probabilistic odds via synthetic yes/no tokens, impact market users directly trade the asset itself in conditional states where they express positions like, I'm willing to buy Bitcoin at $110,000, a 10% premium to market, if and only if the Fed cuts 75 basis points. This fundamentally enhances what markets reveal. Rather than maintaining separate markets for probability of Fed cut and Bitcoin price, we get direct price discovery for Bitcoin price if the Fed cuts by 75 bips. This idea can be extended to any asset/event pairing, such as Google and GPT-6 released before Gemini Series 4, or gold, asteroid mining by 2030, and so on. The key distinction is there are events and there are the impacts those events have on companies and assets, which are two fundamentally different things. Prediction markets aggregate probabilities for whether events will occur. Impact markets answer the next question: what happens to this company or asset if this event occurs? This separation allows each market type to specialize while creating a more complete information set. And this is really insightful.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it'd be hard. It's significantly more complex. It sounds like it'd be much more difficult.
I think they're two separate markets, but it helps you get it creates the incentive for more accurate information.
Yeah, you could kind of accomplish this by just parlaying two prediction markets at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like you could bet on Fed rates and bet on Bitcoin price. And I mean, I guess have a bot run wild with it, balancing it out based on outcomes.
Yeah. I thought that
you
was
could even
insightful.
hold the actual asset too if you wanted to in that process. Did you see my world peace prediction markets Nostr note that I triggered a bunch of folks on?
No, let me pull it up. What did you do? What are you doing out there?
Let me see if I can get the link. I mean, it's not something that the freaks would be unaware of. We've talked about it a lot. the basic premise. Let me just see if I can find it. Oh, here it is.
If you want peace, you should bet yes on all the war markets. Corrupt leaders will bet no, and they will be rich, but no war.
Yeah, if you bet, I mean, because this is what we've been talking about, right? Is that if you actually want the outcome to be the opposite, right? You'd bet if you didn't want Trump to bomb Iran, you'd bet significantly that he would bomb Iran, and then he would bet no, and then we'd have peace, but he would make money from it. And then you'd have to just keep doing that forever. Did you see my follow-up? My follow-up is the future of ESG and DEI is you buy these shoes and we'll bet yes on more markets. It's like you imagine you had like a bunch of woke corporations and they're just like, we'll take a portion of our profits and we'll just bet yes on war forever. Just a decentralized, a distributed bribe protocol effectively to stop warfare.
Is this
a fun shower thought?
It is like, what is the is this an evolution of human nature that we want? Like people have to constantly be thinking about
like I think it doesn't matter what you want.
That's
it's
true.
Here. We're here. We live in the timeline that you could be in the middle of the jungle and you could be betting on airstrikes, and it is what it is. You can't you can argue all day long on moral judgment on whether or not that should be the case or whether or not it's ethically if it's ethically sound, but it exists. The cat's out of the bag, and this is the world we live in now.
Vote yes on war. You heard it here first.
Vote yes on war. Yeah.
And on that note, McCoy zapped us 22,000 sats. Stay optimistic. We'll stay optimistic.
Thank you, sir. I am optimistic.
I am too.
I do like the Tom Shoes model, but they bet on war. I just think
they bet yes on war.
What a world.
All right, back to internet outages. We talked about this last week. Obviously, hopefully, enough Ugandan citizens downloaded BitChat and are able to communicate, but the internet was officially shut off.
Called that one
2 days ago. I mean, the government even came out like on Monday, like, we're shutting the internet.
Yeah, we're 100%. And they're like, we're shutting off BitChat too, so fuck you.
Yeah. So it's still down. NetBlocks is showing 20%.
I love NetBlocks, by the way. What a great nonprofit.
I was going to say, they don't make money, right? Like, they just,
no.
Yeah. The internet's observatory.
I think HRF has given them a Bitcoin grant even.
Good. More on HRF Bitcoin grants later in this episode. But yeah, I mean, the election's happening. I mean, what time is it now? I think, right? Probably over at this point.
Let's see. Time in Uganda. 10:26 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows when we'll hear. I imagine, if I recall from my research I did last week, during the 2021 elections, they shut it down for 5 days, like a day before and 4 after. Shit. So internet could be out down there for the next few days. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see if BitChat had any impact at all or how people were using it. I haven't heard any reports out of Uganda today.
I saw Dorsey. I mean, it's kind of good time. I mean, I'm sure he accelerated his timing, but they finally passed a third-party audit on the security of BitChat. And then I think I have something else in here. Oh yeah, there's they've been making just massive progress on it. There's a Meshtastic BitChat bridge that allows those Meshtastic LoRa devices, the small, low-powered devices, to forward along BitChat messages, which is awesome. You want to see that those network effects compound rather than fight each other, rather than have like two different mesh standards. And then separately, Callie's been working on, at least on the Android side, using Wi-Fi to expand the range, which I think is incredibly important. And we spoke about it last week, but iPhones still get to take advantage of that too, because if they're in a mesh with Android devices, the Android devices will extend the range for them. So slow and steady, but it's cool to see the progress made over there.
Yeah, I imagine the focus over-indexing on Android development makes sense. I imagine Android is way more adopted in Uganda than iPhone.
Oh, 100%. Worldwide it is. But I don't think it's even them focusing on one or the other. Like Dorsey focuses on iOS and Callie focuses on Android. And they'll just take advantage of whatever they can take advantage of in terms of capabilities for each platform. I think no matter how you cut it, though, if you want to make a significant impact on the world, it's got to be cross-platform. Like you can't pick one or the other.
Yeah. Again, heart goes out to the people of Uganda. And it will be very fascinating to see if BitChat did have any effect on at least what's happening on the ground today there, and even more so if it actually had an effect on actually recording votes, and having data.
Have there been any tweets from Bobby
Wine?
All caps. Uganda is still in the dark with the internet shut down. Several incidents of ballot stuffing have been recorded. The regime, military, and police is directly involved in repressing our agents at polling stations. On top of abductions, the regime forces are targeting our leaders across the country. Hashtag free Uganda now. That was 4 hours ago.
Yeah. We'll update you freaks on that next week. Onto more comical things. Many of you may be aware already, on Sunday night, Jerome Powell came out with a Roger Ver-esque
This was wild. Yeah, I also thought of Roger. Gun to his head.
Let's play the whole thing. Let's just play it 2 minutes.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
I mean, the last part of that was complete bullshit. Like, he famously cut interest rates right before one of the elections to favor a political party. Complete clown world. This is why you need to get central planners out of control of your money. And I was talking about this on the Last Trade podcast yesterday. It's clown world on both sides, right? Like, yes, we obviously don't like the Federal Reserve, don't think it should exist. We are big advocates of end the Fed. You should not have a centralized entity controlling the price of money, the interest rate, money supply, manipulation. The dual mandate, half of the mandate is completely oxymoronic. They try to achieve price stability via targeting 2% price inflation, year-on-year price inflation. But the other side too, it's like the Treasury is trying to take over central control of the money supply, or the Trump administration via the Treasury. and it's not going to end any better. Maybe temporarily, if the Trump administration wants to make sure they have full control over monetary policies, so they can enact their economic policies, and may have some short-term benefits. But the problem with central control of money is that if you can control the levers, you will inevitably pull the lever to do morally
Corruption.
dubious things. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably best case scenario for us that they're fighting with each other. Like when they're aligned is when the most damage is done.
Yeah.
Or if one side has all the power, or if they're aligned, which is basically the same thing, is when it's the worst case scenario. But what was also crazy about this was, first of all, that's a straight up hostage video. Absolutely wild. And just like posted out on the internet, right? Like came from the Federal Reserve's
late on Sunday night.
Yeah.
I went to the Eagles game on
open.
Sunday. Went to the Eagles game, terrible loss, was at the game, and then like ended up stopped at a bar, let traffic go, had a drink before taking an Uber home, and it was like it had to be like 8:30, and it came across. It was like 8:30 on a Sunday.
Well, that was the cool part. The cool part was Bitcoin just immediately started pumping on the news. They're like, they're fighting. Let's rip this shit. And that's how I knew about it, was because the block clock just started running. I was like, what's going on? Let me go check to see what's going on out there in the wider world.
Yeah.
Bitcoin almost immediately responded to it.
Yeah, at 5:30 p.m., Bitcoin was at $90,398, and by 10 p.m. it was at $92,260. So it went up.
Pretty crazy.
$2,500 almost. Yeah, it's it's such a clown world. It's only accelerating. So you have that. Obviously, we mentioned Iran. The Rial completely collapsed earlier this week.
It hit zero.
Yeah. Not many people are paying attention, but Japanese yield curve is blowing out. Like they're going to need to issue JGBs and have the BOJ buy them. So they're going to have to print a ton more money.
Trump's going to buy Greenland.
Trump's like,
it's going to happen. You heard it here first. I'm convinced it's happening.
I mean, they were talking about this week. They like met. They all met.
If you don't want it to happen, bet yes on Polymarket.
I'm betting no. I would like Greenland. I think that's a nice piece of land.
You want Greenland?
I want Greenland. Seems like the people of Greenland want us too.
I mean, I think it strategically would be a good deal for the United States of America.
Yeah, very strategic.
I mean, did you see the numbers? It was like, if we give, there's only 57,000. Not we. I mean, I'm not involved in the decision. There's only 57,000 people in Greenland. If the U.S. government gives them $1 million a pop, that's $50 billion. And we've done 4x to Ukraine. Like $50 billion is nothing in the U.S. printing press.
That was one day
go down
back in the day.
If the U.S. government bought Greenland for $50 billion, it would go down like Louisiana Purchase, Alaska. Like it'd be like the most obviously great deal ever in 50 years. Like no one would even think twice. You never hear anyone's like, oh, we got a horrible fucking deal on the Louisiana Purchase. It's like not up for debate.
Probably the best deal in human history. We take Greenland, and then I want Alberta too. I want to annex Alberta. The rest of Canada can.
The difference is the Albertans actually want to be a part of America. The Greenlanders don't really.
No, I think there is a contingency of Greenlanders who are like, hey, come and get us. Come and save us.
Alberta's good people. The rest of Canada's kind of heavyweight.
Yeah, it might make sense to pick up Manitoba too, though, because it has a.
Are you just like? Do you have a map up and you're just? Yeah. That's what Trump's doing right now. You realize that, right?
You have access to.
Trump's just got like, he's got a map printout. He's just like putting pins on the map.
You get Manitoba, maybe you throw on Saskatchewan. Okay, maybe we just take 3 Canadian provinces. We get the oil. You can pipe it across Saskatchewan, Manitoba, get it to the Hudson Bay, Greenland. You're safe, and then. We can sell our oil to Ireland and save that country.
What a timeline.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do think he's going to get Greenland, regardless of how you feel about that, if you support it or not.
Look at us just turning into a game of Risk, people. Like, all right, we're just gonna take.
Well,
this
that's the
guy.
funny thing is, it's like literally, if you look at a Risk board, like Venezuela too, it's like Venezuela and Greenland is how you secure North America in Risk.
Yeah. Very strategic land. Very strategic land. Greenland is. Next on the list, we have BPI, launches office in DC. Obviously, we already talked about that. Go check it out. Pubkey, great establishment down there. Very, very aesthetically pleasing. High vibes. Great beers. They have cold mugs. Very good. Very nice cold mugs. I'm a big cold mug fan. The snaps, the Pilsner there. Very good.
A cold mug does really.
It hits.
Do you ever try and do it at home? Like you just
Yeah.
put it in the freezer?
Yeah.
But the replenishing it's a hard
You gotta-
task to keep it replenished.
You got to be on top of it. Moving on, Andreas Antonopoulos was awarded the second annual Finney Freedom Prize by the
I thought this was well deserved.
Yeah.
Good choice. So this is HRF's Finney Prize, which is a cool concept. It's they've already put the Bitcoin away, and then they have a committee that decides, a volunteer committee that decides who wins for each era of Bitcoin, right? So each halving cycle of Bitcoin. Obviously, they just started it last year, so they have to do the old ones that have already happened. And the committee process is cool because once the committees vote on someone, then the committees each select who's going to replace each person on the committee selects who's going to replace them. So they've like set this up as like a 100-year prize that is self-funded, that is already funded with Bitcoin. So this is for 2016 to 2020. And so it's like, who was the most influential force for good in Bitcoin between 2016 and 2020? And I think Andreas has kind of lost the plot in a lot of ways, but I will say that I wouldn't be here today, at least in the way I am here today, if it wasn't for Andreas. Like my early Bitcoin journey, which predates the 2016 to 2020 era, but my early Bitcoin journey was just like watching Andreas videos and then smash buying. So
Same.
I'm
well
pretty grateful for him in that regard.
I'm too. I mean, his Rogan apps were epic. I mean, back in like 2012, 2013.
Like the last Bitcoiner we've had on Rogan, basically.
Yeah.
If you don't, yeah.
I think the one, like, I think it was like 2013 and 2014, Bitcoin was in like hundreds of dollars range. He had Joe spin up a wallet and just like hold the QR code to the screen. I think he got something like 600 Bitcoin or something like that.
Well, like people sending it to the stream.
Yeah. No, very well deserved. I mean, I learned a lot. Mastering Bitcoin was critical to my my understanding of Bitcoin, the protocol. It's still open source on GitHub if you want to go learn about Bitcoin protocol. And obviously, yeah, I mean, the way in which he articulated the profundity of Bitcoin was just incredibly engaging. If he's doing it today, I'm sure it still is today. Yeah, don't agree with everything. All of his political views.
Well, he lost his way. He also lost his way on shitcoins. I mean, he wrote Mastering Ethereum too.
Yeah, that's true.
But
we talked about the Mestastic.
Well deserved.
Bitcoin Bridge.
Let's read shout outs.
Yeah, read shout outs.
On Prime, on Nostr, we had a really big fucking zap on the video. It was, let's see, huge shout out. 101,101 sats from PGS Design. Thank you, sir. Huge mega zap. He said CO2 number go up, bets are fun, you guys crush it. He got one of those ARANET CO2 detectors that I recommended. That's ARANET, ARANET.com. I've applied for an RHR discount code, but we have not been approved yet. But use it anyway so they know. But I actually brought one of those monitors with me. I was at last week, if you remember, I was streaming from Costa Rica. I was on off the record retreat with a bunch of great Bitcoiners, and I brought it with me. The airplanes are always horrible because you can't open windows on airplanes. Like, they have to fix that. Once again, a monopoly. They have no reason to improve the current situation.
You want them to allow people to open the windows?
No, they just have to improve the airflow. Like, it gets so bad in there. Like, you literally, so at 2000, you lose like 15% of your brain power. Like, people are literally retarded. That's why, like, when you're like sitting on the tarmac, you know how like tempers start rising and people get agitated and kids are crying and shit? It's because they can't breathe. It's because it's all CO2. They're just breathing in other people's CO2. Like, that's why. Like, there's a medical reason for it. But I was at one of the events we had, and it was in Costa Rica, and the doors were closed and the AC was on. We hit 4,000, which is like 2x OSHA limits. Like, we were clinically retarded at that point. That's like a 35-40% brain reduction.
Did you let the organizers know that they were?
Yeah, we opened the windows. I was kind of curious how high we would get, to be honest. Like, I'd never seen it that high before in terms of number go up, but we did. For the rest of the session, all the doors were open. It was hot, but it's fine. But it's crazy. Like, I was talking to a good friend and sponsor of the pod, Paul Atoy, with Stakwork, and he was the one who got me into it in the first place. And it's like a crazy rabbit hole when you start to think about it, because people are obsessed with like purified air, right? But this is different. This is an air purifier doesn't fix this for you. You need fresh air. Fresh air is what fixes this for you. Opening a window, having better airflow, being outside. And the crazy rabbit hole is the amount of important decisions that happen in humanity that happen with very high CO2 levels. You know, like, just imagine like a bunch of like the Illuminati in a board meeting
in a war
with
room.
No oxygen. And they're in a war room. And they're like, got, 30% mental capacity reduction because they're just breathing in everyone's CO2. It happens all the fucking time. So fade boardrooms, make important decisions outside. That's the that's the takeaway.
I saw Dorsey tweeting out a Nietzsche quote about never make a decision from behind a desk. Always do it outside.
There you go. Yeah, it's because Nietzsche was pre-CO2 detector, so he didn't know why. Now we can measure these things. We can battle that.
Got another out of band update. Not update, but just to be on the market structure stuff. What to be looking out for moving forward. Most likely attack vectors. Coinbase gets the concessions on stablecoin yield they're looking for, and TradFi lets them into the Wall Street cartel in order to lock in an onerous regulatory regime that prevents any further competitors from entering the market, all while retail gets the receiving end of a Coinbase-blessed digital surveillance panopticon. So, in line with what we were saying earlier, but reinforced by somebody in the know. So, make sure we stay vigilant on that.
It's also tiresome, Marty.
It really is. To the boost. Rabbit Hole recap 391. Ledger leaks again. Top boost. Evan, 50,000 sats. Nebraska freaks. The Nebraska Bitcoin Association is educating our legislator about the need to protect self-custody and developers' rights. Very apropos for what we were just discussing. We're introducing a draft amendment to LB 717 that would close these gaps in the Nebraska Financial Innovation Act. It adapts the latest Senate language for BRCA and Keep Your Coins Act. The committee hearing for LB 717 is Tuesday, January 20th at 1:30 p.m. local time in Nebraska, I imagine. Call to action. Please consider commenting online or joining us at the hearing. For more info, find us on Nostr, nebraska@primal.net, or nebitcoin.org. nebitcoin.org. Not any. A-N-Y. N-E-N-E.
Thank you for spelling it out, because I was confused.
Yes.
That's awesome. Great initiative. Shout out to Nebraska.
Shout out to Evan and the Nebraskan freaks out there. I know there are dozens of you. Pringle Mac, 44,444 sats, fours across the board. Palindrome boost. Happy New Year's, freaks. 2026 is shaping up to be a banger. Good, bad, and ugly, but we will win. Stay humble, stack sats. Be the change you want to see in the world. And donate to OpenSats, freaks. Hope you got our donation, Matt. Sorry for your loss, Marty. Ants rock. They do rock. And thank you for that. Big love. Always, Sil and Tony. Shout out to the Ride or Die, Sil and Tony.
Thank you. Great advice. And thank you for supporting OpenSats. OpenSats.org. We actually sent out every month we send out $1 million worth of Bitcoin to 200 plus people in 40 plus countries with multi-sig. I helped process that transaction today with my cold card. Pretty fucking cool to see. It makes me bullish every fucking time. Multi-sig straight to grant recipients. Yeah.
Before we go into the last topic, I'm going to throw in a new topic because I saw a freak talking about it in YouTube and I did some quick research. It does seem like it is validated on the theme of the predictable demise of fiat currencies, centrally controlled fiat currencies. Looks like UK banks borrowed a record 99 billion British pounds of liquidity from the Bank of England on repo this morning. So it looks like there may be a liquidity crisis emerging in the British banking system.
Mandibles and Bitcoin standard.
The intercabal squabble happens. We're suffocating the city of London right now, attacking the Eurodollar system.
Mandibles and Bitcoin standard.
Have you heard the city of London silver connection theory?
Did you see? First of all, Matt A. Miller asked if it was a cold card queue. Yes, best hardware wallet available. My family relies on it. OpenSats relies on them. You can use code RHR for a discount, coldcard.com. I have my guide at werunbtc.com/coldcard. Check it out. When I posted the hostage video, did you see Richard Grease's comment underneath it?
No, I didn't.
The Powell hostage video. It was it was an all-time great. This is what, it's like, this is the metrics that matter to me on Nostr. Like, as long as the Ride or Dies can make me laugh, it's a win. Looking forward to the interview Marty Bent does with Tom Luongo to explain why and how this means bad news for the Bank of England.
That'll happen next week, freaks. Be on the lookout. I did see that, actually. I got to check out that.
Yeah, when I just checked, you zapped it. You had already zapped it.
We got a zap. Speaking of zaps, we got one of the live stream, bitcoinsponsorships.com. I can't read the whole thing. I think it's that. Love the show. If you need sponsors, check out bitcoinsponsorships.com, a free network connecting Bitcoin creators with brands. I saw you zapping some of our content on Primal this week. Bitcoinsponsorships.com. Looking into it. I don't know how these guys make money, but apparently it's free.
Yeah, I mean, no endorsement.
Yeah, can't endorse. Haven't used.
So what were you saying? City of London? What about the City of London? I cut you off.
I watched a podcast last week. Somebody in the Tom Luongo web of people who are convinced that we're in a battle with the City of London. Apparently, they going back like 400 years, they have debt contracts denominated in silver that have just been rolled over for 400 years. And one of the theories of the silver squeeze right now is that they're squeezing the City of London and trying to bankrupt them because all of their multi-century debt obligations are denominated in silver. Thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels big. The silver run, the gold run feels big. Do you see Chamath called for copper to run?
Yeah.
To the Tether leadership that might be listening to this show, when Tether copper? Like, when can I buy burgers at Steak and Shake with Tether copper?
I'm more of a uranium bull these days. Give me Tether uranium.
How do you? I was thinking about that too. How do you self-custody uranium? Is that legal?
I think people go to jail for.
You have to physical uranium only. Don't buy paper uranium. Paper uranium is a scam. Wild times. It does. The commodities are pointing to Mandibles and Bitcoin Standard is what they're pointing to.
Matt Miller saying Chamath reposted a video calling for Obama to go to prison. Wow, this is like.
It's because Obama self-custodied uranium.
Worlds colliding.
It's all connected.
I mean, on the uranium front too. Apparently, nuclear energy got classified as ESG friendly this week. That's why it looks like the steps are being taken to untether the nuclear industry from the regulatory tape that's out there.
It's what we said as soon as it happened. It was so obvious as it was happening. I was like, as soon as big tech and all the tech bros needed power for AI, the entire narrative switched. Like all of a sudden it was like, we need power generation, next great American century. Like we're not doing enough power, coal, nuclear, everything, like as much power as possible. Completely flipped. No one's shitting on Bitcoin's power usage anymore. And all eyes are on increasing as much power generation and efficiency as possible. It like flipped on a fucking dime.
And it is important to stay humble, but it is a little deflating because we were on the anti-ESG, we need more power wave like 6 years. I mean, you sent the note out 2 weeks ago. Everything Bitcoiners will say something, then 4 years later it'll be consensus view in Silicon Valley, and they'll act like they made up the idea.
Well, no, see, this is why I love prediction markets and why I love Bitcoin and free markets and why I love our work at 1031 is because if you have skin in the game, then you can profit off of being right, and then it just feels good. You just get the benefit. And like we just had our 1031 annual investor day, and 1031 is outperforming 90% of funds that were all like, if you compare our funds to the same year that other funds were created, we're outperforming 90% of them. We're outperforming Bitcoin. Yeah. We're the first check into Giga Energy, who only raised $5 million, that now is doing AI compute stuff too, because they were on the leading edge of the storage containers used for energy generation, just on-demand data centers, whether those are Bitcoin miners or AI. Upstream Data, we're the exclusive investor of. So
we did place our bets. We did make some prediction market bets in that regard.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm satisfied with it. They don't have to call me up and be like, "You were right." It's fine.
We were right.
I won't expect a call.
We did put some money where our mouths were, and it is paying out. Shout out to Giga and Upstream, two incredible companies. I mean, Giga, and Upstream, both of them are in a very good position right now. This energy wave is only beginning. It has nowhere near its crest. So I think we have at least another decade of energy expansion.
I just love I don't know. It's just, I love the competition of it all. Yeah. I mean, there were so many, like, you want to talk about crypto investors? They were all fading proof of work. They were all like, right. Proof of stake is the future.
And I remember writing Benson.
You don't want to use energy.
I'll go back and find the receipts. When I was writing Benson in 2018, like, I'm so happy that they're doing this, because you don't realize that this like intersection of compute and energy is like the next big thing, and you actually want to be using a lot of energy because it makes you a strategic stakeholder in our energy systems, which is a very valuable spot to be in. I
see Austin in the Ride or Die Primal chat asking, Giga's doing AI now. You know, they're agnostic. They do power generation.
Yeah, they're not running their own GPUs. Well, they build modular data centers, and they've designed the data centers in a way where you can input racks that can hold Bitcoin miners or GPUs. On top of that, that's another thing with Giga specifically, like, they noticed bottlenecks in the energy sector, particularly with transformers, which became a big thing a few years ago. And they're like, all right, let's make transformers. These are desperately needed. So they have a manufacturing facility for transformers in Long Beach, and they just spun up another manufacturing facility in Houston. So they service that. They were building gen sets as well, but they also released this demand response software so that miners, people using their data centers to mine Bitcoin, can basically connect to the substation or the grid system and get real-time pricing and decide if they want to turn off or mine Bitcoin, and make sure they're as profitable as possible. They've got a full suite of products that is really positioned well for this energy boon that we're.
I'm so proud of those guys. What hustlers!
I mean, the speed at which, I mean, we're glazing our own portfolio company, but it is
Well deserved glaze.
warranted glazing. I mean, the speed at which
Talking
is
about
insane.
glazing portfolio company. Did NVK just showed up in the live chat?
You are late.
I think it's cut off. Do I see it? Is it only 1,000 sat zap or is it 21,000?
It's 1,000.
Wow. Okay. Well, someone's feeling a little frugal today. But anyway, we're very proud. We're very proud to support MVK and Coinkite as the exclusive investor of the best hardware in the space. Coinkite.com. Use code RHL.
Just for you, since you are late, you missed it. I was holding this up earlier, so you'll be happy to know. Yeah.
I was hoping that my interface was just drop the 2 in front of 21,000. What are you gonna do?
Last thing on the list, but I feel like we could riff after this. And your mug beer is making me very thirsty for a beer.
I've been mugging it lately.
I like the mug. I was talking about it, like the mug last night. The cold mugs at Pubkey DC.
This was a warm mug. It was a room temperature mug. Let's be honest.
Yeah. HRF's Bitcoin Development Fund announces support for 22 projects worldwide. They sent out over 1.3 billion Satoshis in grants.
Massive. Love to see it. Great project supported. They're doing great work. It looks like Marty's wife has just walked into the room.
She did. She's wondering if she can leave the house and leave our 4-month-old in napping in his crib. Yes, you can, baby. Yeah,
it's off camera. As long as it's off camera.
I feel fortunate. Don't you feel fortunate? We'll do this. I know your family is very close to you. Yeah,
absolutely blessed.
Nice. It was nice knowing that we're doing this, and our wives and our children are not too far away from us right now.
No, it's we have a lot to be grateful for.
Wow, look at this. No zap in the YouTube live chat, but got a shout out. Started watching you guys 7 years ago. Seems like another lifetime ago. It really does. It is crazy.
I love it. It's like great name too. 192.168.11.
I hope that's not your IP address, sir.
No. That's like a local IP. That's like when you're like trying to access your router or something. It's like, oh, my router has the same IP address. As far as portfolio companies, I forgot to put this on the list. If you've been living under a rock, 1031 is the largest investor in Strike. And Strike just launched Mississippi, Virginia, Ohio, and Tennessee, the great state of Tennessee, for Bitcoin-backed loans. Obviously, as it's my base of operations, we've been very excited to get Tennessee out the door. But now they're all live. We're going to try and just knock them out jurisdiction by jurisdiction. It's going to be a big couple of months.
Shipping. We're pumping. Everybody's doing well. Fade the haters. People saying you can't invest in Bitcoin companies. There's nothing there. Bitcoin's going to be destroyed by quantum computing.
Yeah, one of the people that said that actually bottom ticked. Ticked.
Maybe too early to call that. It could be a bull trap. I'd hold that.
Well, even if it's a bull trap, I'm going to take advantage of the moment to say that he bottom ticked it. And what was the message he said? He said, wait for the coming days. They're going to dump on you because of quantum computing. And it's like at $80,000.
It was if we hit a new all-time high, it will prove it literally was a bottom tick of.
I mean, look, usually we need a couple sacrifices for Bitcoin to turn around. And we had a three-peat, basically, this cycle. We had Nick Carter, we had Mike Brock, and Luke Roman. And I think Luke is probably the most disappointing one. He'll probably come around.
I don't think Luke is out. I think he made a trade.
Do you see some of his? No, but he's emotionally invested in that trade right now. Do you see him? I have a lot of respect for Luke, which is why it was the most disappointing. But he's like out there like shitting on Bitcoin actively on Twitter.
Luke.
He's emotionally invested in the trade now.
I'll have to have Luke back.
That's where it becomes a problem.
Luke's a good friend. I respect Luke. I love Luke. Hate to say it.
Look, I look forward to him turning around at at Bitcoin's next all-time high against gold
When is that coming? Is it super cycle?
this year.
Are we starting
it's
the
gonna
year
come
out with
this year.
super cycle?
My prediction at the beginning of the year was that we're going to hit a new all-time high in gold and a new all-time high in silver, and also a new all-time in dollars this year. And you said yes to dollars, no to silver, no to gold.
I mean, silver and gold are still
if I wanna
pumping,
find
dude.
you. And you
We're-
refused to bet on it.
We're starving out the city of London. I think dollar all-time high is definitely within the
Yeah,
realm
but that's
of
like
possibility.
that's not as fun anymore. We need gold and silver all-time highs.
It's true.
That's the harder call. I think that's the harder call. I think there's a decent amount of people that think that we'll hit a dollar all-time high. Just because the printer is about to, I mean, you saw the Fed hostage video, like the printer's about to go fucking wild.
Yeah.
But the question is, how does that relatively perform against silver and gold, which have Lindy and have been around forever? Matt A. Miller saying new all-time high price in gold equals $185,000. Obviously, like gold would be ripping in that situation too. So it's probably higher than that. Actually, like we'd probably meet them somewhere in the 200s, something like that. I don't know. Stay humble and stack sats about it. But Marty refuses to bet me on this. I don't know, Marty, did you see someone in Nostr was like, Marty, water's wet. Odell, want to bet? I thought that was hilarious.
All right, let's bet on it if you want to bet on it.
And then someone underneath was like, water isn't wet. And I love that part too. It's just
100,000 sats, December 31st, 2026 at midnight, right before the ball drops, right as the ball's dropping.
That all-time high was hit before that. We could drop below it, but that all-time high was hit before that.
Between now and
as long as we breach all-time high in gold, we breach all-time high in gold, it counts.
I thought it was gold and silver. Which one is it?
Will you give me 2-1 on the tandem?
Yes, 100,000 sats, 2-1 on the tandem. You have to hit.
So you pay me $200K. I have to hit both, and they don't have to be on the same day, obviously.
No.
Okay, deal.
I immediately regret that decision. But, you heard it here first, freaks. Somebody write it down. We don't have the bet tracker, so we've been talking about it for over a year. We need to.
We only have one outstanding. This is the first. We didn't have any outstanding bets until we just made that bet.
Yeah. All right. Now we have one.
We've filled out all our other bets.
I'm on a losing streak. I need to win this one.
Yeah. Ever since my wife told me to stop betting on mempools, I've been fucking crushing.
Yeah, that's the last one I won. I'm gonna win this one though. Speaking of winning, we're winning in the live chat on Nostr. Florida Justin zapped us 22,122 sats. Palindrome zap. Appreciate you, lads. Appreciate you too, lad. Appreciate you too.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I'm gonna go have a Guinness. And enjoy this beautiful Thursday afternoon we have here in the Philadelphia area. A little frigid, a little cold, but sun's out. Vibes are high.
Huge shout out to the freaks fighting for freedom in Iran and Uganda and everywhere else in the world. Huge shout to NVK on bringing another baby into the world, since he just reiterated it in the live chat. More babies. We need strong Bitcoiner families. Love you all. Stay humble, stack sats.
Well, on that note, we won't end it yet. I tried to bribe my wife this morning to have our fourth baby. To get rid.
Why? You don't have to bribe her that hard. I know her well.
I know.
There's no bribery. What'd you bribe her with?
We're with the newborn. It's like, it's annoying. You have the car seat, then you put the stroller in the back. There's now a car seat that is also a stroller that you just like take it out and like fold it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to get one. And we'll sell it next year when he's walking. I was like, you don't have to sell it. Like, you can get it if we have a fourth,
Honestly, I don't like that car seat though. Have you used it?
I haven't used it. I've heard about it. I've seen people
my
use
sister has it. I don't know. It's just bulky. It's like it tries to kill two birds with one stone, and it does like both poorly. Like I like the car seat that rotates out, so it's easy to put them in.
Yeah,
you know what car seat I'm talking about?
I always feel bad.
That
like his head a little
that
bit.
one I recommend. And then we have like a super lightweight stroller. And it's like, so you mix the two together and you have like a worse car seat and you have a worse stroller. But yeah, anyway, you should have more babies. I don't think you have to bribe your wife too hard on that one. I think she's pretty aligned.
I don't. You know, you're like 4 months after the pregnancy is a very physical thing. It's like,
Of course, it's like the most physical thing.
You got to be.
I don't know
strategic.
if I could do it.
You got to be strategic
Fair
about
enough.
bringing up the next baby after the last one.
Freaks, have babies, strong families. Bullish.
Peace and love, freaks.